So, I mean, it's very hard to measure, in numbers. Certainly, the US military has estimated that there are probably at least 10,000 ISIS militants still active and present in Syria and Iraq combined. So, if we're talking about that Syria and Iraq heartland, that's obviously a very significant number. But as I say, they're not controlling territory, they're not patrolling. So, it is really hard to measure. I think in Syria, we're seeing at least one attack a day. That is markedly more than what we saw in 2022. And in Iraq, just at the end of 2022, we saw some really significant, very deadly attacks, not just in the north, in the disputed region between the KRG and sort of mainland Iraq, but also down south. So clearly, this is an organization that is seeking to send a message. We're still here, we're still fighting. In their own words, the days of the Khalifa are still very much alive. And that is a challenge that the Iraqi government and various actors in Syria, both in and of themselves, but also collectively, are going to have to be challenging, I think, even more so this year than they were last.
حتى أفهم منك هنا، نحن نتحدث عن جيل جديد وليس جيل 2014.
It's a continuation of exactly the same challenge that we faced in 2014, with one sort of exception, which is ISIS is now a much more local terrorist organization than it was a big international one in Syria and Iraq in earlier years. Of course, the vast majority of its foreign fighters have been arrested or killed over the last 8 years or so. So the threat that we face now on Syrian and Iraqi territory is almost entirely presented by Syrian and Iraqi members of ISIS. In many ways, I think that's actually both quite telling for us as outsiders, but also quite dangerous. The fact that they have managed to retain that many fighters that impose that kind of a terrorist challenge, I think is worrying. After all the destruction that was caused by ISIS and amidst the battles with ISIS, I think the fact that it has managed to keep those fighters and arguably probably recruit new ones on that local level is, I think, a worrying indication of the fact that this is an organization that still retains some support, but also that there are deep-rooted problems in Syria and Iraq that allow an organization like this to continue to operate.